I was just going to give this. I'm giving this talk to Dave, but you guys are in the room. So that's what you get. You get me talking to Dave Kennedy. Because he was one of the sponsor guys. So I figured I would make a talk specifically for him. Which is, so you want to be an InfoSec rockstar. Oh, come on, Dave. All right. Before I get started with any of that stuff, first I want to let you know that I was totally going to go give a security talk.
Here?
Because it sounded legit. On how to do defensive-y things to stop attackers from doing attackery things. I'll post the slide deck if you want it, but I decided I just wasn't kind of feeling that this morning. So I said, fuck it. Because that's what I get out of BSides. I get to give a talk that I wouldn't submit somewhere else, and that sure as fuck wouldn't get accepted somewhere else. But it's probably a talk that needs to get had. So I want to thank BSides for inviting me out here and everybody who's put together all their fucking effort and making badges and doing all this shit, and putting up lockpick villages and sponsors. And I mean, look at all this cool free shit that's going on. How cool is that? Right? Seriously. That's fucking awesome. It blows me away from the random house parties that we used to have because people thought hackers were bad, where we'd have to get shit-faced and rent and fuck up a Vegas house and burn that bitch to the ground and then be like, but hackers aren't bad. Be like, dog, you burned my house down. And I'm like, but I didn't do it. It was the other people at the party. Which has been our motto for a long time, that it's the other kids, not us. I have disclaimers in my talk because obviously you already know I'm offensive. So, bam. If anybody has religious problems, tough shit, don't care, get over it. I have a whole bunch of other offensive shit that I say all the time. I really don't give a fuck if you like it or not. I don't. I'm not arrogant. I'm just strong enough in my own personality that if you don't like me, fuck you, find somebody else. I've been in this industry for way, 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 way too long to care about those types of things because my job is to tell people the shit they don't want to hear. And they pay me to tell them shit that they don't want to fucking hear. And then they get pissed because I told them the shit that they don't want to hear. And they yell at me because I'm an asshole, because I'm the dude telling all these fucking people the shit they don't want to hear. It's my life. So at least I can be real with y'all because some of you connect to that, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is the check clear?
All right. Yeah, right? Pay up, old stitches. So I'm Chris. That's me. In other formats. I'm sure if you search the internet for me, there's all sorts of real fucked up pictures that are way worse than that. There's all sorts of aliases of me. When I started the industry when I was a little kid, everybody called me Indy, and it kind of stuck forever. Because I was the one who was jumping and breaking into shit, being like, woo, we can go have a party over here. And people were like, what? And be like, it's a broken down warehouse. The cops aren't going to get here for, I don't know, I did a test last week, and it took them 15 minutes. You know, and you have to be at this level of decibel before somebody reports it. So, capricious youth got me into this industry. I own a company called Lars. I own a couple other ones now that are starting to get out there. We do stuff like, application testing, code review. We do incident response shit. We do risk assessments. We do red teaming stuff, and we make badge systems really, really pissed at us. Yeah, we break shit. A lot. Real often. We do adversarial mapping and understandings. We do a whole lot of pen testing. That term's interesting because I think a lot of people don't know what the fuck it is. But whatever. If you get paid for it, right? Keep on it. So I love this. Like the rich kid pen test where you just have a whole bunch of fucking badass tools and you run all those. versus like the ghetto pen test where you like run a bunch of the open source shit. I love it. It's like the perfect unification of the shit that we're doing in the industry, right? I'm known for doing a lot of red teaming, which is effectively, somewhere in the late 90s. I was like, it would be super cool if people just let me do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. It's awesome because I say that now and everybody looks at me as the person who started a lot of that in the industry. And then IBM comes in and like, yeah, we do red teaming. But then I say, like, I just did it because I just wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And they're like, ugh, maybe we shouldn't put it in our marketing. Right? But then they're like, fuck, people pay a ton of money for that. Put it in the marketing anyway. Just say that we did it before Chris. Right? And I'm like, that's cool. You're wrong, but it's fine. My company does a whole lot of stuff. Right? We do a whole bunch of shit that we're not supposed to tell people that we do because our lawyers tell us not to. But I don't really care. I've been sued more times than I care to admit. And I'll probably keep getting sued. I'm a loudmouth. I grew up in New England. I kind of don't give a fuck. I mean, if it's going to sue me out of business, whatever. Maybe I should sell cars. Politicking, right? So I had this whole talk. I'm moral. I know. I love that. I love it because then people see the persona of me and they're like, he's not moral at all. And it's just a totally different thing, which is this perfect segue, right, into these people that through my industry experience and being up on stages and running conferences and starting shit like this with Jack and other people in the community like BSides and being at DEF CON since, I don't know, the fucking fourth one, I think. I used to use not supposed to say that out loud. That was close. So I used to use the train rider's manual when I was a kid because my parents were divorced. To tell my mom that I was at my dad's house, and then I used the TRA then so that I could go see what trains I could get on to get from Connecticut to go to Las Vegas and hop trains the whole way so that I could get there for DEF CON because I was, 15, and you can't just go buy a fucking plane ticket to go to a hacker conference in the, 80s. Shit doesn't work that way. But since I've been around for so long and doing that shit for so long, all these people started saying, like, well, you're a fucking rock star. You're, like, flying all over the world doing all this shit, like, talking at all these conferences, doing all these crazy things, right? So they paint this little picture on you. So I figure, well, that's cool. Other people look up to that for some reason. I don't get it. So I should give a talk about how to be a rock star, right? Like, because if people want that shit, then just that's a cool thing to just go do if that's what you want. So first, you got to cut a hole in the box. And that's a 40-pound box of rape. All right, just to be clear, if you can't see it from wherever you're sitting. Cutting a hole in the box means that you got to be in the game. I've been in the game since I was a little kid. Oddly enough, and as fucking creepy as that picture is with the fucking clown shit, you knew I was going to grow up to be fucked up if you saw that picture. Like, if you were there at that event and saw me in a barbershop quartet singing with a fucking clown, you were like, that dude is destined to be a weird motherfucker for the rest of his life. Like, this is the scarring moment that's going to make him into a serial killer. Right? But I've been on stage a long time, so you got to kind of get comfortable with the fact that people are going to be looking at you and not really give a shit about that, right? You also got to figure out your persona, right? You're not allowed to give people the real you when you're on stage. You can only give them the fake you. So I have to live two Chris Nickersons. I have to live the on-stage Chris Nickerson, and then I have to live the at-home Chris Nickerson, because that separates church and state. Right? Second, you gotta put your junk in the box.
Demonstrate. I should have asked.
All right. I'm comfortable. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable. I perform. If you want to come up, I'll show you a little trick I like to do. Yeah, it's okay. I got it on video. So all of those pictures are totally irrelevant to probably everybody in the room. Anybody have heard of Dill Dog before? That's a picture of Dill from like, I don't know, I think DEF CON 4 or 5, back when he was just gangster mode, before he had twins. Well, he's on the process of having twins. The duck in the middle is hilarious. So at DEF CON 6, because we always had the scavenger hunt, I think Grifter found a duck. I don't know where the fuck you find a duck in Vegas, but obviously you win the scavenger hunt when you find a baby duck. And you imprint the baby duck to follow you everywhere, and then when you're walking around DEF CON, you have a fucking baby duck that rolls with you everywhere you go. That's the most gangster shit. Like, oh yeah, I hack stuff, be like, I have a duck. And it literally does anything I fucking want it to do. What's up? And you're like, you win. You totally win. I get why you win. Here's the trophy. Anybody ever heard of Caesar's Challenge from DEF CON? So the first Caesar's Challenge, Caesar wrote all of his crypto shit out on a piece of stolen Office Depot paper. Because we didn't have money for fucking TVs, bullshit like that. We were like, cool, if we just steal this shit from Office Depot, we could write it out. And then there was no one sitting there with like cloud systems to crack stuff. It was like other cats and girls and guys sitting there on paper being like, what the fuck does this mean? And there was no reference. There wasn't like we could like go search Google. That shit didn't exist. People were working their ass off. But they figured it out, and it was kick-ass, right? It was so cool because people had the junk in the box. They were like showing what they had. So I had to do that, right? I had a TV show. I love that picture. Luke hates that picture, but I love that picture. That was from the promo shoot of all the bullshit when they were making our TV show. And wow, is that a fucked up process to have people take that many pictures of you? Especially being like a kind of not, I'm like not the most public person in the world. Like I don't want my fucking picture taken. I'm fat. I don't look pretty. Like I'm not shaved right. Whatever the fuck it is, excuse. I don't like people taking pictures. But holy cow, is that shit fun. So I had a TV show. Right. So that's part of your be a rock star. Go get a fucking TV show. After you do that, come on, make a podcast. Had a podcast. Had a whole bunch of people that listened to it. Right? Go give a bunch of talks where you entertain people. That's super important. Have people who are wicked famous troll you. I don't know if you know who Jeff Moss is, but he's the person who founded DEF CON and Black Hat. And that just says, I asked Chris if he would submit a talk for DEF CON, and instead he started his own conference. Which is part of the BSides story. But funny enough, like that was out of love, right? Like we gave each other shit so that we could force ourselves to exceed and succeed. And we did that over and over again. Then I started a conference. Much shit he was talking with a whole bunch of people who really threw down. Who gave a fuck about learning instead of just showing out. Gave a TED talk. It was one of those big notches in the belt. Right? 18 minutes of holy shit, I have to talk to a whole bunch of people that don't understand hacker stuff. What the fuck am I going to say? Like, at least with y'all, I could cheat. Like, I know what you have been through in some way, shape, or form, can kind of connect to that, can sit on stage for like an hour talking shit. You'd be like, yeah, it was a really great talk. I like don't even really know if you said anything, but like, it was funny. Right? Because like, I've gone through all that bullshit before. The TED shit, it's like, there's a bunch of doctors and shit and like really smart people in the room. Like, I'm going to look like a retard. Like, oh, hacking the thing. And they'll be like, don't know. Why did you show a DOS screen? And I'm like, it's a command line. And they're like, nope. Don't fucking, I click on my shit. I'm fucking new school. You must not have updated your shit. Like. That's for real. That's how that's how it happens. All right. Got together with wicked smart people and made a standard. Made a standard that was so gangster that other people who make standards adopted it as part of their standard to be standard for their standard. That's some Inception standard shit. Oh, that's like, you have to be a rock star at that point.
And the story about creating that's even better.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, me and Dave sitting there, Dave holding my dick.
That was an accident. That was an accident. I was trying
He
to
was literally holding my dick.
It was an accident.
But did you or did you not hold my dick?
I went to grab your.
Did you or did you not? You can't handle the truth. Did you or did you not hold my dick?
How does it hang that far left?
It's just how it. I mean, I don't know. I was relaxed. All right.
Why weren't you aroused if you were with Dave? That's the question.
Why do you think it was hanging down that low? I had a semi just his scent. So, see? Exactly. All right. So then after you make standards that go into other standards, because you inception other standards, and that's just how rockstar you can be, then you got to get elected to boards. Because that's, the big success thing. I'm on a fucking board. I'm on a ISACA or InfraGard or that trust board, right? So I got accepted and elected to other boards and did board shit, which I was bored. 3, you got to open the box. Now that you've done all of this awesome shit in your career, you have to actually careerize it. Yep. So I've gone through a bunch of different iterations of companies. I worked at a big giant law firm that they were protecting the tobacco industry. So you can only imagine the type of wild attacks and shit that we were coming under when the righteous and just people on the left arm of the support all of the poor dying people who are fucking got lung cancer. They're like, we could win the case if we only had this data. I mean, and it's $4 trillion, and everybody knows that moral alignment is what attorneys do. So I had to fight the paladins of the world because they were out there going for the common man. So that was cool. Worked at Sprint, so then I went from getting my ass handed to me and having all sorts of paid-for attackers coming after me to a carrier class environment, where at that point, not only did we see attackers and see defenders, but I had to run the wires and let everything go everywhere at every point in time. And my job was to start fucking vendors up, right? Oh, you think you can do a gig of throughput? Really? Let's put it in the lab, dog. And they're like, nope, just kidding. MTU size is what? We're like, that's not real world traffic. Come on, let's do it. And they're like, Cisco, why'd your box turn off? It turned off. It didn't reset, it turned off. It was nope, not fucking with that. Night-night. Right? I got to see a really cool part of the world to watch these vendors just bitch in front of me. They were like, can't do it. I'm like, you don't want to be part of this? I'm going to buy $50 million worth of your shit. And they're like, I don't want to play. And then I started getting my voice in the industry. I'm like, hey, look at this. Fucking Cisco doesn't want to play because they're bitch. What are they going to say? I'm the fucking head of security at Sprint. They're going to talk shit on me because they're going to lose all sorts of other fucking business if they do that. Right? So then it's you get the deal on the side stuff. The sales dude takes you out to a strip club and he's like, dog, I'm going to get you a couple lap dances. I just want to say, we're good, right? Yeah, me and you are good, but your company's full of shit. And they'd be like, but I'm part of the company and we're in it together. And I'm like, fuck you, you're not in it together. You're out here screwing people and I'm here trying to do my job. I'm gonna go get another lap dance and think about it. Maybe I'll change my mind. I didn't. Ethics, exactly. Somewhere inside of there, I decided I was going to go work for KPMG. So I went from getting my ass beat up to working in the carrier class to being if I work for KPMG, I can go into any environment I want. Anywhere. Anywhere I want. And I can see what security actually is like for them. I can truly look into what they do and judge them for how they're doing it, get paid, and be able to get a whole different look on the industry than I ever had before. Awesome. What I found is fuck those people. I mean, fuck them all the way with the biggest, blackest, longest dick I could find. Fuck those people. Oh my God. Fuck them. Since then, they've gotten better because they've started to go to conferences and stuff and hear people like me and other people call them assholes and let them like they got to that step 1 of the fucking 12 steps where they admitted they had a problem, right? Like they're kind of there, but they don't give a shit because they make so much money that they don't have to fucking care. But then you get people like me who are on stage who are like, that dude's hurting our business. And they're like, don't talk shit to him. He's going to be really mean. And he flies all over the place because the dude's a rock star. So like you kind of can't, you can fuck with him, but not like publicly. And then you can't do it in a way where he can attribute it to us because it's going to make us look like assholes. Because like he's all about helping the community and we're all about fucking raping them and taking their money. But we can't tell people that. So we'll sponsor the conference. Beautiful relationship. I worked at a big distributor, right? So then I was like, all right, how do other security companies do it? So I worked at this big-ass distributor, and we had 3,000 VARs, and all of those VARs wanted to say they had pen testers in a security practice. So now I got to see how the littlest or biggest VAR did it, and what their strategy was to like manipulate people into believing that they could actually do the total irrelevant bullshit that they said that they were going to do. And then they hand those projects to me and be like, hey, do the thing, security guy. Right. So that was fun. And then I got sick and tired of making everybody else in the world rich and decided I would go out on my own and be poor, but be right. And there was the birth of my company, my first company, Lars. So yeah, that's the rockstar life. That's where you get to. You get to this becomes something that's part of your head. This becomes something that you know so well that you hate yourself for it. Where the global services people on the other line of United, when I'm having conversations about what the flight number is that I could change to go to a different city to reroute around the weather, and what the time of that flight is on that day without looking on the internet, because I know, that's the shit life that you start living. Woo! I'm a rock star now. I fly all over the place, talk shit, do whatever I want, right? Have enough money to buy my own drinks. Yeah, at the airport, in the United Club that somebody else pays for. So I can get drunk for free, but make it seem like I'm paying for all that shit. So that's awesome. That's a lot of the life and accomplishments in my life that other people have looked up to for me. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that my effort's gone somewhere. But I think that a lot of times when people use that term, rockstar, and whatever else, they don't really know what the fuck it means. And they don't really know what comes with the territory. Because they see the you flying all around, being able to talk shit to vendor, put your dick out the table, be like, look at how mine is. And they're like, oh my God, you're a girl. And be like, yeah, but it's so much bigger than yours. You know, and they're like, shit, I don't know what to do. Right? Like, they see those things. They see the, like, brazen attitude of, like, oh, you're so arrogant and this and that. But like, no, motherfucker, I just did it. I don't, like, hold myself higher because that's the shit I did. But they don't talk about the other side of it, man. They don't talk about what it's actually like to live in that life. Even though you may want that life, there's another side. So that happens constantly. And I think it's hilarious because the, like, you know, sort of gray mark over sleep. Because I don't know how much sleep I've lost in the last 15 years, but I guarantee you it's more than 95% of whatever the statistic is of the people that don't sleep very well. I mean, even my fiance is like, I don't understand how at least twice a week you pull an all-nighter. And I'm like, I don't know any different. My body is made that way now. I'm forced to do that. I don't even want to do that. Last night, I stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning. Why? I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Was I trying to be productive? Fuck no. I was like going from like porn to whatever other bullshit to fucking deal news to like randomly buying shit to, I don't know. I don't even know why I was on the internet, but I was like interneting. You know, I'd like read something really smart and then feel bad and like go buy something. You know, like, but you start living a life like that. You start running around and you dedicate your life to trying to help. You have some type of moral goal inside of you that says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to help, I'm going to put myself out there, and you play Jesus and you nail yourself to the fucking cross. And you're like, I'm going to sacrifice it so I can try and get the word out. Right? And then you go to all these cons and you drink a whole lot because you want to have a drink with somebody, right? Like it's a casual thing. But if you fly 250,000 miles a year for the last 15 years like I have, that means there's a lot of casual, just one-off, have a drink with somebody conversations that you have, right? Which also turns into there's really no way that I could stay up much anymore without trying to do something more than drinking. So now you start to see that shit happen. And then it's the like, well, I'm a fucking rock star. I can party. I can't die, obviously. Because my stories of breaking into buildings and getting shot at and hacking shit and fucking owning people's stuff, no one else has those stories. So I'm obviously invincible, right? Because that's what people tell me. I'm totally invincible. So then I can go do whatever the hell I want to do. Which means stay up for 5 days straight. And at the end of it, I get to go, you know what though, I gave 2 talks and like a whole bunch of people were really down with that and I really made an impact and a difference. But at the same time, I don't know how many bags deep and I have no idea what's going on in my life. That part landed me in rehab for a while. Sucks. It's a sucky place. Granted, there's a lot of people in rehab with a lot of money if you go to the right rehab, so you can kind of build a business out of it. But it's terrible because it's right. It's terrible, it's right. If you're an actor, what do? You go to rehab to get your next job. If you're a fucking failed actor and like your career's over, you get all fucked up, you go to rehab, you're like, bam, I've been reborn. Okay? Thank you. All right. My personal life has been fucking destroyed by my professional life. I've been married twice. Both of them cheated on me. Both of them I got divorced. There's my badge of commitment to the industry. The industry and what I was doing was more important than my own fucking family. And you know what I did? I allowed that to happen. I allowed myself to say, fuck it, my morals are this big thing, when I forgot the fundamental morals that I had, which was take care of myself and my home. And instead, I made everyone else in the industry, everyone else in the companies that I worked for, my home, and I totally neglected my own home. It was fucked. It is fucked. But I was a rock star. What was I expected to do? I was supposed to live that way. That was my manifest destiny. So, I have a lot of people who don't like me. A lot of them. There's magazines that don't like me. Think about that. You're a rock star. Yay, we look up to that stuff. But there's literally people printing articles that have millions of readers that are like, this dude is a fucking asshole. And I've never met them ever in my whole life. I have no idea who these people are. And they're hating. And the only thing that I'm doing in the middle of me nailing myself to the cross and trying to protect the world around me to make it a better place because I could share the security knowledge that I had, that I got from literally breaking into the shit and doing illegal stuff when I was a fucking kid. Which is just crazy to tie all those things together. Like I don't even know what random new DSMV 5, 6 term there is for that, but I'm sure there'll be one at some point. But there's people who hate me who don't even know me. You have that to look forward to when you get to that status. For sure. Every single one of them. You get people to print articles that say shit like, Chris Nickerson is your worst nightmare. Right? Now, I have giant balls. I'm like, woo, I'm your worst nightmare. Fuck you. Because I'm like coked out of my mind and I kind of don't really care or don't know what's going on. But someone said that, like for real, to the world. That's a hard thing to digest when you're sitting at home watching Netflix and Orange is the New Black and like crying about something, or watching, God, I don't know, what the hell was that? Black gospel. Oh my God, it was like a musical gospel. I don't know, whatever the hell it was. I remember one of my buddies walking in and I was like weeping while I was watching it. But I'm somebody's worst nightmare. Me sitting there eating popcorn, crying at my movie, right? So my fiance that I have right now, for the last 9 months, because my armor's so thick, because I'm used to being on stage, because the flaws in me are so few that they have to attack something else, they've been attacking her. They've been putting up WordPress sites about how she was a cheating, lying whore, knowing full well that both of my marriages ended that way. They've been making fake Twitter accounts to interact with the Denver Police Department, to try and tell them that I've been hacking their stuff. They've been sending her cool shit in the mail, like used condoms. That says, "Dear cum dumpster, did you leave this somewhere? It looks familiar to you, of course. You really need to stop coming around. You are about as smart, interesting, and attractive as a used rubber, floating in a toilet, in a bathroom, and a truck stop. Your parents should have used one of these. It's not over till it's over. Fuck off already, whore." Despite their poor use of grammar and run-on sentences, this is fucking disgusting.
Fuck that asshole.
But it's what you have to look forward to when you're a rock star. That's what you get. That's what you're gonna get. No matter what the fuck you do, those people are out there, and if they can't hurt you, they're gonna hurt the ones you love. That's how people roll now. Because there's no fucking respect. Because I can put everything I want out there, and I'm a misogynist asshole who's arrogant. Most of the time, it's because they want to be me. But they don't know what it's like to actually be on the other side. So bring your umbrella and safety goggles. Because if you want to get into this, it's not the most fun fucking ride that you think. So what did I learn? Instead of sitting up here and trying not to cry about my own fucking life. Right? It's my cake. I'll do what I want. Right? It's literally my cake. I made it. Why am I bitching about it? I should eat it. And if it tastes like shit, I should learn how to make better cake. That's a fact. That's one of the things that I've learned since my engagement and my time with Amanda, is that I made my own shitty cake, and I need to make better cake. Right? Bust your ass. Bust your ass every time. Because if you don't, you're that person. You're that person who just skated by. Because when you're sitting there sobbing about your Netflix, you feel like shit about yourself because you know you didn't try as hard as you could. So do it. Do everything it takes. Be the change. Right? Actually be the change. Don't talk about the change. As I say that, sitting here talking about the change. It's tricky for me. But be it. Like, actually change what you do. If you're going to do this, and you're going to step out there, and you're going to put your foot forward, and you're going to try and teach the world. And whether you save 1 or 1,000,000, be the thing that you want the world to be. Don't bitch about your home environment. Ever. That's your home. Don't bitch about your company. That's where you work. They pay your bills. They're the reason your kids eat. Do it. Do it right. Get your home in order. You can't do this shit without having a support system. And you have to have it. None of us can do this alone. I absolutely need you guys. I absolutely need this community. And more than anything, I need my home. I need a safe place to go when shit's real fucked up. Because you know what happens? Every time we tell somebody the stuff they don't want to hear, all that bad shit happens. The talking shit, the explanations, the you're this, the you're that. All that's going to happen to us. So you got to have a home base. You got to have a place that you can go back to and retreat, and that security has nothing to do with. Which leads to private and public. We have to have a better understanding of what's private and what's public. A lot of us in this industry, because we're so devoted to what we do and how we do it, tend to blend those lines a little bit too much. Right? We blend it so much that we don't even know the difference between private and public. To the point where we're just like, well, this is my opinion and fuck it. To the point where literally, how many people have you seen on Twitter who said, this is my opinion but not my company's? Because they had to state it. Because it wasn't clear that there was a private and public life. You got to do that if you're going to be out there. You got to do that if you're making the commitment. Remember who the fuck you are. You started this for a reason. Finish it for a reason. Don't let somebody else tell you who you are. Don't let somebody else say, you're a hacker and this means this. Or you're a developer and that means you can't do this or you this. Or you think this way because you can't do this or you can't do this. Fuck those people. Thank you. The reason that we do what we do is because we have decided who we are. And if somebody doesn't want that, let them go. And come back to it because there's somebody who wants the information we have. We may beat our heads against the wall at 500 different companies, but one of them is going to listen. And the day that that one listens, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel good about it. So don't give up, because it'll happen. Don't be a bitch. Don't. You know, the fucked up part is we know when we're being bitches. And we're like, I'm going to be a bitch, teach this person a lesson. What the what? My Italian grandmother will whoop my ass if that was my attitude. Whoop my ass, like hard whoop my ass, like blood coming out of my nose, whoop my ass. Old school, ass kicking. And then like when I was done, like pull a belt off of my grandfather so that she could get some licks in before he had his turn. I don't call child services. I call the like, Chris, you better wake the fuck up and not do that again line. We need to do that. Don't be a fucking, you don't have to be an asshole to get ahead. There's no reason to be. If you can show people that you're the change you want in the world, if you can actually be that change without being a prick, think of how many people you get to influence. Because you're a prick. But I accept you for who you are. If you're going to lead things, lead them. Don't tell people you're leading them. Jump in front, pull the fucking weight. Do the thing. I want you to do this. Means nothing. I want to do this with you is the biggest commitment you could ever give anyone. Whether that's in your personal life or your work life. It's one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn. The trolls. Please don't feed the trolls. And it's so fucking hard. Because it hurts so bad. It makes you hurt so bad when people are saying such nasty shit. But you gotta know that what you're doing is for a reason. You gotta know that everything that you've given out to this is for a distinct reason, and that haters are going to hate. And if you don't have any haters, you're probably not trying hard enough. So let them hate. Just don't give them power over you. Don't let them stop the fucking freight train that you have to make this industry a better place. Now, whether that's your management or whether that's personally, this applies to both. People like that. There's always someone older than you that can kick your ass, and there's always somebody younger than you that can outsmart you. So be humble. You might get put on a pedestal by magazines and people and shit all over the place, and have people wanting to blow smoke up your ass to be friends or whatever else. But understand that no matter how gangster and how smart that you are, there's motherfuckers that are way smarter. And how tough you think you are, and how much you think you've done, there's people that have done 10 times more than you do. Remember that. Because it will keep you in the middle. It will keep you connected to the people you're trying to help. Educate people. Don't judge them. If I hear another person's talk that complains about the users being idiots, I swear to God, I'm going to fucking beat them up on stage. I swear to you. Because anybody who says that needs to go do something else for a job. We're educators. That's our job. We have a vision. And the vision that we have is not shared by many. That's why our industry is so fucked up. And the people who prevail and the people who make a difference are the ones that actually educate instead of just judging people. Your users are out there every single day doing shit you don't know how to do. Respect that. Learn from them what they know. Trade back the knowledge of what you know. And be that change. Ask for help. It's a hard thing in our industry. It's one of my favorite things about us getting together to make BSides happen. Is that it's a safe place to ask for help. When I was young and I was a kid, we were having hacker parties and we'd have shit like CuervoCon. Why was it called CuervoCon? Well, because we did it on a hotel that was right on the Mexican border in Texas. That's funny. But why was it called CuervoCon? Well, because we had challenges every night to see who could sneak across the border without getting caught by Border Patrol. Yeah, you won't put your skin in the game. Cross the border legally. You got skills? You a red teamer? Let's see if you can break into Mexico.
It's coming back.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm just saying, right? And sometimes you're like, I want to play the game, but I don't want to get locked up in jail in Mexico. So like, can I hook up with you and do the thing that you're doing if you know how to do it? Right? Or maybe it's like, I don't want to play the game at all. But I would really like to know how the fuck you just did that. Right? Like, ask those questions. That's what our industry was founded on, is somebody having some type of answer and talking about it, and somebody else going like, granted, we had a lot of inebriation, we still do, but like being drunk, excited enough to walk up to someone and be like, hey, how the fuck did you do that? Like, what kind of magic shit do you have? And they're like, here. And in 4 minutes, instead of their 2-hour talk, they taught somebody how to do something, and they were like, word, I get that. Like this? And they're like, yeah. And then you ended up owning a whole bunch of shit in China, and we're laughing, and then you like forward shells to the feds because it was funny. But don't let asking help be your bar. If you ask someone for help and they tell you, fuck you, noob, know for a fact that that person has died in our industry and they're just on their way out to sea. Don't take it as a problem with you. Take it as that motherfucker's already dead, and they're just going out to pasture. You don't have to disrespect them for it. You're just like, you know what? You got your Clint Eastwood on. You shooting at people in your fucking Gran Torino shit. Just go on with it. I will ask somebody else. Thank you for the response. Do not get disheartened because one of us is an asshole. Because we all aren't assholes. We really aren't. All of us had to grow up asking the same fucking questions, so ask questions. And if I don't know, or they don't know, respect the fact that they don't know. And most of the people who are real hackers, they'll be like, shit, I don't know. Like, hold up. Like, let's call this dude. This dude probably knows. And like, on speakerphone, like, you will both learn some random shit. You know? Yeah. And you got it. You got to grow. Oh, little kid getting wasted. Be present to the fact that, as an analogy, we're a whole bunch of alcoholics who get paid to drink for a living. All right? We don't understand that our work and our hobby are the same thing because we were bred to be this way. We don't know any better. And it's okay to not know any better, but be present to the fact that the shit that we would do if we weren't getting paid for, we're doing anyway. And know that at some points, you've got to give that up. You got to take time for you and your family and everybody around you to not be in that game anymore. Get a hobby. Please, get a hobby that's not InfoSec. That's not coding or development. I don't care if it's woodwork. I'm a really awkward, weird audiophile who has like a big obsession with fucking weird old tubes. And I've got like racks of super old tubes in my house. And like, I'm to the point where I'm just so fucked up about it that like, there's certain songs that I like with certain tubes, and so I spend like an hour like regaining and changing everything on my amplifier to put new tubes in because I know that this song sounds a little bit better with these kind of tubes than this tube. Just do it. The cross-training effort alone will make you so much better at your job, and it'll give you an outlet. Because we all need an outlet. We have our families if we can build them, and our community and our friends, but we need an outlet just for us. You need your own secret and quiet place where you get to be yourself and not have the influence of the outside world or what you do or who you are. You need to find a place that you can lose yourself. Find it. It exists. If it doesn't exist in your world right now, you just haven't looked far enough. So then spend that time that you would in a hobby going to search for it. Try and see if you can live slower. We live at a pace that is breakneck because the industry that we're in develops much farther than we can learn. And as much as we don't want to admit that we know everything, and we don't want to admit that the next new thing is, I got it, or the next new technique, or the next new this, or I have to go to this conference or that conference to learn this thing. I have to read all night. I have to do all these things. Fuck sleeping. I have to do this. I have to be the best of that. Know that if you slow down, you will get the clarity to see the image in front of you instead of just seeing the blur of your life passing you. I have no other wisdom to share other than go be a rock star. Go be the person who changes the industry. Go be the person that makes a fucking difference. But I will not support you as a friend or a colleague unless you do it in a way that takes care of yourself. There's too many of us that are dying from this job. I've watched too many of my friends die on this stage. So the best I can try and tell is to say, you have the power to do it, just do it right. Thanks.